Shalom, Yashrala. This is your brother Dawada, coming back at you with the sincere truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Rakakudash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, Akim, pushing this truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. So, there's actually another article as well, too, that's, going into the same topic about how the anti-participators, they think that they're nuts, but they are mad that they can't travel without basically participating, right? Here's a different article that says dozens of U.S. healthcare groups call for mandatory jabs for medical workers as part of an ethical commitment to patients. All right, it says dozens of groups representing healthcare workers in the U.S. have released a joint statement calling for mandatory jabs for their industry amid a surge in the Delta variant. The statement put on by the American Medical Association and over 50 other groups urge healthcare and long-term care facility workers to fulfill their ethical commitment to their patients by getting jabbed. All right, ultimately, they're using this as a soft spot type of thing. Oh, if you love somebody, you would do these things. They put these types of things like that. But it says getting jabbed is the logical fulfillment of the ethical commitment of healthcare workers to put patients first. The group, hey, what happens to put yourself first? Make sure you straight, all right? But nevertheless, it says, and people can say different things back and forth, like, well, you are keeping yourself safe. But they tell you, hey, man, we're not going to get into that because, they talk about medical misinformation. But, look, hey, they the ones tell you you'll be safe with all these situations, but yet the same people who thought that followed that directions are the same people that's getting sick out here. It says the group acknowledged that the jab rates among nursing homes and long care facility workers have been lagging. Recent data has shown that around 59% of these employees have received at least one dose of the jab. Analysts in May from WebMD and Medscape Medical News also estimated a quarter of hospital employees who have come into contact with patients have not been jabbed. Unfortunately, many healthcare and long-term care personnel remains unjabbed, and the statement reads, as we move towards the full FDA administration approval of the current available jabs, all healthcare workers should get jabbed for their own health and to protect their colleagues, families, and residents of long-term care facilities and patients. They saying that they should do this, all right? But we already know it's going to be mandatory. Well, look, we're not making it mandatory, but if you want to work here, you got to do this, right? They went on to call for employees to implement effective policies to encourage participating, all right? While the Biden administration has not signaled that a potential federal jab mandate could be coming, they have stepped up their efforts to encourage people to get inoculated, and cases have spiked across the country, with some cities such as LA even reverting to public mass mandates to curb the spread. So, hey, again, just like with the family of the word and so-called freedom of speech, they hadn't made a law saying that you can't talk about these things, but hey, they're pushing these corporations like your Facebook, your Twitters, your YouTube, all right, to basically censor you if, to update their terms of services. So if you talk about these things, they pretty much can censor you with this, because it's like, well, it's not a law that you can't talk about these things, but the platforms of what you're speaking on is against their terms of services. So the same thing here, your terms of employment. Hey, it's not against the law to do these things, but if you want to work here, you got to abide by these here rules. All right. Hey, just like, for instance, it's not against the law to it's not against an actual law for a man to walk inside of let's say a gas station with no shirt on. Let's say he at the beach, he walks into the store, with no shirt on. That's not against, you can't go to jail for that. All right. But nevertheless, the stores have store policies saying no shirt, no shoes, no service. Right. It says some U.S. employers have already begun offering financial incentives to workers to get jabbed, and others have already said new hires will be required to be jabbed, like Delta Airlines. Ezekiel Emanuel, a biologist at the University of Pennsylvania, organized Monday's statement and claimed that healthcare workers making the jabs a priority will help the public better trust the jab, as inoculation rates have been slipping despite them now being readily available to most. Let me just go ahead and finish this out. Despite everything, collodion making access readily available at any pharmacy, making it free, having the president plead, all this hasn't really moved the needle very much in the nation, and he told the Washington Post, adding that the medical community needs to lead. All right. So again, hey, if it's so good, why do you have to sit here and plead with certain things? All right. You know, people have you can't just go around doing wickedness your whole time and screwing people over. Then all of a sudden want people to trust you. You know, it's like the boy who cried wolf. It says tracking the American Hospital Association with support jab mandates show that very few hospitals have actually required the jab. While the available jabs not yet fully approved by the FDA, some mandates are murky propositions and could lead to potential litigation from dissenters. Outside the U.S., France has already taken the dive and now legally requires healthcare workers to get jabbed. The mandate has seen swift and local protests. In response, protesters have been taken to the streets for weeks now to demonstrate against the pandemic government measures pushing the jabs on citizens, including the health pass that will get jabbed people access to certain venues such as restaurants and bars. And this is what we've been telling you according to the prophecies in the scriptures, because of the fact of, you know, we already know, you know, according to the Most High's plan, that these things will happen. All right. But what you're seeing right now is these prophecies speaking loud and clear. You're seeing them being rolled out in real time. All right. And they want to call us these conspiracy theories and everything else like that. But you also got to, and censor us. You also have to take into account of the famine of the word, because soon the famine of the word is going to come, and that's a part of them censoring us as well too. All right, so let's grab just a couple scriptures. Not trying to make this too long, but nevertheless, we can start here. Or it's at the top of the screen. Habakkuk 2:3. It says, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie, though it tarry. Wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry." All right, and going into these things, you know, people laughed and clowned us about these things. You guys are always talking about this, always talking about this. We don't see this coming to pass. Hey, though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. It's not lying, bro. It's speaking loud and clear. And you seeing this in the news headlines and things like that. Why are they censoring us from telling you these things? All right. Obviously, there has to be some type of truth to it. If it wasn't, they would be like, you know what? We ain't got to censor them. We ain't got to silence them. We ain't got to say nothing to them. The regular people around the world will hear what they saying and open their eyes and look around and say, man, the shit that y'all talking about ain't coming true. The things y'all saying ain't really happening around us. I can just go inside of here and go inside of my job. Ain't asking me to get none of these things. But what? The prophecies are speaking. The things that we're saying is actually coming to pass right now. So this is a point of why they're trying to silence us in certain things. All right. Let me just, I was thinking of a different precept real quick. But let me grab this real quick. Revelation 13 and verse, we'll start at 16. It says, "And he causeth all." All right, and this is one of the key major points. This is not just the U.S. thing. It's not just a certain state thing. This is pretty much going on globally. All right, I did an article on this, or a lesson on this the other day, about how Russia, all right, was trying to fine people for talking about these types of things, you know. It says, "He causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead, that no man might buy or sell, save he that have the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name." How are you going to buy if you don't have no money? Where would you be getting your money from? From your job. But if you're getting let go of your job because you don't want to participate, well, you ain't gonna have the money to go buy anything. Then also in these other stores and things like that, like we seen with the mask situation, you know, hey, a lot of stores wasn't allowing you coming inside their stores without the mask. All right. Again, going back to store policy, it wasn't against the law to not wear a mask in some places, but it wasn't against the law not to really wear a mask. All right. But when the stores require you to do these things, this is what you have to do to be able to go inside the stores. All right. Let me read 17 again. And that no man might buy or sell, save he that have the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. You know, and we've gone into all these things about how, you know, this word charagma is going into, you know, an incision, a cut being put into the skin by a stake or a palisade and things like this. All right. Let me grab this other precept also on the top of my head real quick. Okay. This is Sirach chapter 10 and verse 12. It says, "Never trust thy enemy, for like iron rusted, so is his wickedness." All right. Hey, it's the same dude, you know, who had the Tuskegee experiment. Who was the other one called? The smallpox. All right. And all these different things that's been going on, man. All right. You know, you even seen them with these different situations say, oh, it's safe. It ain't been approved, but it's safe. But then you seen these adverse effects to where they even noticed it and they pulled it off the shelf for a time being and putting it back out on the shelf. And these are the same people that, you know, look up what happened with Bayer and what they were doing with these pills, you know, they shipped overseas because it contained, you know, a disease in there. All right. This is by their own admission. So why would you want to trust these folks, man? It says, "Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped the looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust have not been altogether wiped away. And so, hey, look, just like right now, they saying they're pleading for you, giving you incentives and things like that. He's humbling himself, but don't mean that he got, your best interest. Oh, we want to give you some money. We want to make sure your kids are safe. No, man, these are just those laws that they're saying, hey, ultimately it's for his own benefit. It's not to benefit you, all right? Set him not by thee, lest when thou hast overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou at thy last remember my words, be pricked therewith. All right, and you have a lot of different people right now that are taking part into these experiments. All right, we had that one video of the girl shaking and everything like that, and she was telling about all her symptoms and things. But hey, before that, she was probably all proud. Oh, I'm gonna go do this. I'm gonna go do that. You guys are crazy. You guys are nuts. Now her whole life has been altered like that, man. And we've seen multiple cases like this. So hey, man, what's wrong with us being concerned about these things when we're seeing the effects? Like I said earlier, if these things weren't true, they could just let us say whatever we want to say, and we will look stupid because people will look at us and say, you guys out here saying that the sky is purple, trying to convince people the sky is purple. But when they go outside and see that blue sky, they know that it's something wrong with us. But the fact of the matter is we're telling you the truth. Like, hey, man, the sky is blue, and people go outside and see the sky is blue. Like, well, maybe they do have some truth to this. But then what do? Well, not the people, but the people in charge. What do? They go and they try to censor us, all right? All medical misinformation. But, hey, man, this is who we're dealing with is the damn devil, man. All right, we're going to read one more. We'll close out. It came back to me now in Isaiah. All right, this is Isaiah chapter 30. It says, woe to the rebellious children, saith Yahweh, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with the covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin unto sin. All right, so, hey, they're taking this counsel, but they're not taking the counsel of the Lord. And how do you take counsel of the Lord? Seeking and read out the book. All right, listen to his prophets. The men of the Lord decide on the highways and the byways, warning you of these things. This is what Ezekiel is talking about, where it says, I made thee a watchman into the house of Israel, therefore give them warning for me. This is what we're out there doing, is warning our people about these things, man. Warning our people who they're dealing with, man. All right, get off of your stay with Egypt, man. It says that walk to go down into Egypt and have not asked in my mouth to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. And this is what they're doing. They're trusting into their enemies more than they're trusting into the Lord, man. All right. Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust of the shadow of Egypt your confusion. Because, hey, it was the Most High that delivered us out of all these different things and out of all these different atrocities and stuff like that. But look, they want to keep going back into their enemies, the ones that only did rape, robbery, and murder onto you. But you don't want to go and cleave unto your power that's been delivering you out of their hands every damn time, man. But nevertheless, this is, 2/3 of our people, this is their lot. They're going to just ignore the Lord, and guess what? He's going to laugh when your calamities come. But nevertheless, hey, it's our job just to warn you of these things that's coming down the pipeline. So, hey, with that, Lord willing, the elect was edified with this here lesson. Until next time, I say, call halal, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Rakak Radash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of great millstone that taught us his truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, Aki, and pushing his truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. Till next time, I say, stay strong. Shalom.